In the words of Dan McCafferty, lead singer from a band called Nazareth, 1970s rock band, we've got to get it together. You bring the wine and we'll bring the weather. We didn't really bring it, but you know what? We're not here to celebrate weather. We're here to celebrate a wedding and a marriage between two lovely people, and that's what it's all about. So rain, shine, snow, wind, who cares? The wedding's this, and this is what we're in for. I'm going to apologise now for offending anybody, because it's going to happen. I'm not very PC, some of you guys might know this. So Christians, Buddhists, anorexics, Scousers, you're all going to get it. And if there's anyone out there that I forgot, just shout out now and I'll add you all later on. Listen, usually best man speeches start with things like, many moons ago, when I first met my mate Chris in St. Catherine's Church at Solihull. Well, I didn't meet him in St. Catherine's Church at Solihull or Chelmsford. I met him a few years ago when his wife strolled into a pub, with him in tow. And he looked pretty straight and square to me. And he kind of still looks pretty straight and square. But he's got his little twists and his little curls about him that I'm about to, highlight to you all right now. The halcyon days of days gone by where we can roll in the snow together. I can't tell tales about that. I can only tell tales of recent times. And by now he should have grown up and been a mature, level-headed, getting close to middle-aged, youngish man. He's not like that. He still likes to get naked. He still likes to get his clothes off. And that's something, guys, you're probably going to see tonight. There's no question with that. In fact, he did something like that only a few weeks ago. In fact, not even that late ago. Only last week at his stag night. We went to a bikers party. I don't know if you know, you've noticed there's biker things on the tables around here. Tiger Triumph and Speed Triple and Bonneville. I wanted that table, by the way. We'd swap the leg roll. So we go to this bike event and he's in a bike club. He's in the Salutation Motorcycle Club. He's been in it a few years and he's a very valued member. He's got a karaoke machine. We love him. And one of the things this club has often done when we've got ailed up and done the biker things is blue our faces. The club colours are blue, the badges are blue, the patches are blue. The bike's many colours, but blue is the colour. And every now and again, particularly on stag nights, the lads like to get blued up with their faces. And, we get the paint out and we smear ourselves. And we actually smeared everybody else that night. We smeared their hair, we smeared their teeth, we smeared inside their mouths. I smeared every part of that boy's body. And I mean every part of that boy's body. And it was only later when he asked me, Andy, when you were running around smearing people's faces with blue paint, how many sponges did you use? Well, we only had the one. I smeared every part of that boy's body before I smeared everybody else. So there was bums, those readers, girls, other parts of bums, inside dark corners that you don't want to know, all smeared by me on him before we went around and covered everybody else's faces. So here's a little hint, don't go to a biker stag do. Certainly when that boy's around and I'm around with blue paint. I'm saying that when Nigel's around. Getting his clothes off is one of these things that he does, and he does it quite often. Earlier in the year, we went to a rally down in, where did we go, guys? It's called the Cold Rally, remind me.
Aubrey.
Aubrey, where?
So, Chichester or something?
Someplace down south.
Kemble Airfield.
Kemble Airfield. It was cold, it was about -10 degrees all the way through the day. We got there, fully in leathers, fully in the gear. I don't even think I took my scarf off. And I stayed that way all the way throughout the night. I stayed that way when I went to bed, I stayed that way when I woke up, I was that way when I was driving home. I even think when I got a shower at home, I was that cold, I stayed with clothes. Again, Chris thought it best that everyone see his body. And by God we did. We saw his body. A few weeks later we went to a party in Somerset. Lovely party in the big house. The guy, opened up his house to us, we camped in his garden, he put on a beer tent. Chris spotted a tree that needed climbing. How old is the guy? When's he going to grow up? I don't mind climbing trees. I just do it with my clothes on. He did it again naked. Up the tree he went, no clothes, pictures were taken. 2 2 or 3 weeks ago, we was at the club barbecue run. You know, we all went out on the bikes, we came back, we had a barbecue party, the karaoke machine went on, had a few drinks. Someone again dropped his clothes, dropped his trousers, dropped everything that he wants to drop. There's a recurring theme here. Nakedness is the name of the game. One day this boy will decide to grow up and he'll keep his clothes on. The thing is about being in a bike club. When you're in a bike club, you don't really keep your own name. We all know him as Chris. You know, well, you all know him as Chris. I kind of do. That's how I was introduced. He's not Chris to me anymore. He's not Chris to Nigel, and he's probably not Chris to 1 or 2 on that table. I don't know if I can tell you what he's known as here. It would be a mistake for me not to. Chris is known as, well, I'll tell you what he's known as, and I'll tell you why. I named him Music Man Chris because he turned up at one of our first gigs with all this gear here. You know, he likes to karaoke, if you don't know. He likes to sing along, he likes to put his music on, he likes to show us that he can do Sinatra, Jones, and Presley. So I kind of named him Music Man Chris. It was the way I described him. Oh, is that fella coming again? Who do you mean? What's he called? Chris. Yeah, him, the music. Oh, Music Man Chris. I was happy with that. He could have had his little dance, Music Man Chris. He turns around and goes, I'm not having that. That's a shite name. Excuse my French, but that's what he said. He's now known forever as, unfortunately, Shining. On his waistcoat, he has the patch, Shining. We've got the name there. Karen also, unfortunately, joined the club. And that too meant she is no longer known as just Karen or Kaz. Karen has a peculiar way of an evening carrying around bottles of wine in seals, cases, safes, anywhere that we can't get our hands on, you know. And she gets into a state known as fit chased. It's not what it sounds like, you've got to flip it around, but it's fit chased. And she has her own patch here now. On her breast, Karen fit chased and Chris Shining. We know why. A few weeks ago, we was at this Sonic Rock Solstice. It was a hippie thing full of, well, hippies, all into the Hawkridge. But there was a guy there, funny enough, his name was Guy. He turned up, and we asked him to give an appraisal of the weekend in his own eloquent way. He's a much better orator than I am, much better writer than I'll ever be. He writes for Classic Rock magazine now and again, and he wrote this little piece for our website. So what I'm about to tell you now is in the public domain. You can all log onto the website, you can read it, you can believe every word that I'm saying here. So I've got to turn the page over here, forgive me. He started off by saying something like, again, forgive me for the language. How shy does your name have to be before that becomes your name? And that really is the case. He goes on in his piece. Although we were in the grip of an intense heatwave, nights were cloudless and bitterly cold. This did not prevent Simon from stripping down to his pants for the music quiz. This was either the act of a seriously hardened backwoodsman or that of an increasingly feeble, back-minded backwoods man. Now, I'm not too sure what he's either a backwoodsman or a backward man. Guy carries on and he says, although ultimately banished to his tent for excessive nudity, what did I say? He continued to bark answers from several yards away, Jewel being possibly the finest answer of the night. I can't remember what the question was. He did shout out Jewel from his tent to a great round of applause. It's, I don't know, Jewel and Crown Jewels comes to mind when it comes to thinking of Chris. But I can't complete a best man speech without saying something controversial, and really controversial, and I'm going to. This time is for revelations. There's someone in here that needs to tell something to their mother. They're a grown person, they're at least 35 years plus, and there's something that they need to tell their mum, and I'm here to help them. I'm here to help them get that weight off their shoulder, to release that albatross from around their neck. Where's Irene? Where is she? Irene, this is for you, darling. Your son likes a cheeky cigarette now and again. I can't believe the man is 35 plus years old and is yet to tell his man, he is yet to tell his man that he likes a cheeky smoke. So you can do with him whatever you have to do. And if it means spanking him and spanking his bare bottom, I know he'll join in, because that's what he likes to do. Right, I've got some cards here to read out, and I did open to some of them, and I actually only opened two. One of them is from a couple or friends of Karen's and Chris's at Antia. It doesn't say nothing special on it. They've not even left the cost of the ticket on it. I can't even make a joke about it. It's from Alison and it's from my neighbours across the road. They say, great that you're getting married. We love you. See you soon. The other card was from Run Around Sue over there in Terry. It was a little bit like a Christmas card. I don't want to embarrass them by getting it out. The other cards are over there, and I won't open them because they'll more than likely say the same things. But there's some things that I do have to do here, and it's actually say thank you very much and toast. I haven't got a drink, but I've got to toast the bridesmaids. Usually the bridesmaids are friends of the bride, and they've got little skimpy skirts on and long legs and whatnot. These bridesmaids, they're kids. They're beautiful kids. They're kids that have taken quite a long time to. I may be presumptuous to say that they actually like me. I don't think they do. I don't. One of them at least wrote a letter to her mother a few years ago and posted it under the door. It was something along the lines of, please don't let me go to that man's house again. I hate him, he scares me. That's Chloe. And she hates me because I call her Chloe. You know, I'm a very phonetic guy. Your name is C-H-L-O-E, Chloe. Dizzy. I used to take Dizzy to school. She used to run from 100 yards from my house and didn't stop until she got to school. And then there's McGann. You know, McGann teaches me how to paint and she's teaching me how to play guitar. So, I'd like you to raise your glasses to the three lovely bridesmaids. McGann, Chloe, and little Dizzy. The bridesmaids.
The bridesmaids.
Apart from the cards, and I wasn't going to do them. And I was going to give a toast to the bride and groom, and that's already done. So I should thank you all for coming. I should thank you all for brightening up whatever dreary day we've had with the weather, and making the sun shine in this room, and for this day, and for Chris and Karen. And it's here to you guys. Chris and Karen, one more time. Adios, guys.